What's up, Analogers? This week on Analog, we break down CEO for you. We talk about Melee, we talk about Dragon Ball FighterZ, and we break down all the players' top 8 entrances.
Oh yeah, and their character switches, and we get into a little bit of commentary on Daytona and Florida as a whole. Florida, you got some problems to work out, not just in Melee, but in general.
Yeah, we address toxicity in the Melee community, so sit tight for that one.
Yeah, and listen to our mid-show announcement this time. You do not want to miss it. This is Analog. Hey guys, welcome to Analog, the podcast where we did not need 36 hours of delayed flights to keep us away from Daytona, Florida.
Man, I'm so glad I wasn't in Florida this weekend.
Yes, so am I. Given how fucking awful the weather was here.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? I don't know.
And how many more racists there are in Florida.
Than here?
Yeah, than here.
And there's already a good amount of racists in New York.
Everywhere, yeah. Just more down there.
Just more. Oh, boy.
Yeah. We have a lot to talk about. It's been a few weeks since we've really said it and meant it.
Yeah, we really do. Because CEO, despite the racists, was a really interesting tournament.
Yeah.
And that's probably what we're going to talk about pretty much the entire time. CEO and CEO adjacent things. I guess CEO was actually a CEO adjacent thing because it wasn't in Orlando.
That's right. It was not Community Effort Orlando. It was Community Effort Daytona Beach for those who were able to fly there.
Just one three-letter anagram with potentially racist connotations associated with it now.
Why were all the flights delayed?
I don't know. I actually have no idea.
Like, every flight was delayed.
I have no idea why. I only saw people complaining about it.
That sucks.
I didn't read carefully.
I was talking to my brother, and he was like, this was on Thursday, and he was talking about how he was delayed for 3-4 hours. I was like, oh man, like that's terrible. Mm-hmm. And the next day I read Twitter and it's like, we've been stuck here all night, 7 a.m. They canceled our flight. We're going to drive. And then there was a big caravan that went over.
Shout outs to Jason from Wave Dash for saving a lot of people, actually.
Yeah. Saving their brackets.
Yeah.
And allowing Mewtwo King and Pluck to win teams.
Well, he didn't allow them to win teams. He
nearly saving us from a Mewtwo King.
Yeah, Mewtwo King
victory.
Won because of the flights, because Kevin and Zach weren't there.
Yeah, poor Kevin and Zach.
That sucked. Yeah.
Where do we want to start?
Where do we want to start? Let's start with Laud. Because
we literally talked about this like last week.
Yeah, but we talked about how he needed like a performance that felt more breakout.
And now he got a top 8.
And now he got a top 8.
Yeah.
So that's great.
For the first time.
I know. Yeah. So he listened to what I said.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that he wanted to prove me wrong. Nico tweeted something over the weekend where he was like, me playing Laud, doing a bunch of amazing float canceled aerials on shield, and then Laud says, my nairs are faster than that.
Laud did not listen to you, because Laud doesn't listen to Analog. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
I talked to him last week.
He probably talks to you enough. He gets enough of you.
Right? But I was like, you should listen. He's like, what do I do for the next 4 hours? I'm at the airport. I'm like, you could listen to Analog finally. And he's like, I'll listen when you guys talk about me. I was like, we talk about you in like every episode. Where else are people going to hear about Laud than right here, right? I mean, come on. So he did take Leffen's seed because Leffen ended up dropping out. That doesn't mean that his run was not impressive because he 2-0'd Cyrox. Mm-hmm. I think he beat Cyrox, I think, at Big House, but that was a while ago. So he refreshed his win over Cyrox.
Yep.
And then he and I were doing some work last week on the Falcon matchup because he is sick of losing to Falcon. Mm-hmm. And if you guys follow him on Twitter, like you already know this.
He hates Falcon.
It's really, really annoying. Honestly, I keep telling him like to stop feeding his subconscious these negative thoughts about Falcon, because like Duck does the same thing and it's not helping any of them, right? It's not helping them get better at the matchup to complain about Falcon.
It helped Laudandus.
Did it? Well,
Laudandus beat S2J.
Laudandus is the ultimate life form, so
that's true. No one can emulate his.
And Laud and Duck are not, apparently.
No.
But I'm happy that I was giving Laud some Falcon practice, and Laud said he talked to Ryobeat, who helped him gain more confidence in the matchup too.
Yeah, well, Nico's good at that matchup.
Yeah, Nico definitely is. And Laud ended up taking it over Money Mike 3-2. I didn't watch that set yet. I'm planning on it. But when I was talking a lot about his bracket, like we knew that Money Mike wasn't going to be someone for him to sleep on.
Yeah,
because we know that Money Mike's really good. He's like one of the best players in North Carolina. I'm pretty sure
he's like the best, isn't he?
I think he's the best besides Dormant PP.
Well,
and
is Sharks North Carolina?
That's actually what I was wondering. I think he is North Carolina.
I don't know who's higher on their PR right now out of those two. I think it's still Money Mike. I've seen a couple of weeklies where he's sort of just like shitting on Sharks, but yeah.
Also of note, when Lod went to North Carolina to compete at one of their big tournaments, he lost to Money Mike.
Was that at Bad Moon Rising or?
No, it was like Money Mike got first and Lod got second.
But what tournament was it?
Just some regional that it was like all North Carolina and Lod.
Huh.
And it was him and one of his friends from college just decided to make the drive down, and they like invited him or something. I don't really know.
But he managed to clutch it out this time. 3-2.
He did.
Yep.
Yeah, it was last stock from what I hear. It was like a low % last stock, but he still won before losing to Zane. I wanted to talk to him before he played Zane. I was trying to get him on the phone. But what I was going to tell him to do, he was actually doing anyways, which was just like, don't get dash dance grabbed, because a lot of times he's played Zane and he just turns his brain off and he's like, I'm going to keep dash attacking like right outside of the corner. It's like, that's where Zane wants you to attack.
You guys, that's something Armada talks about a lot in his Peach versus Marth matchup guide, about how Peach dash attack is used in the matchup. And he talks about how punishing it is if you start using it when it's not a good time to use it.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, that's how I took game 1 off Armada.
Because he kept trying to dash attack you?
He whiffed a dash attack and I punished it. I baited it and I outbeat him. And Zane does the same thing. Lod's edge guards were actually looking so much better versus Zane than they have in the past. Like, something about his turnip placement just looked really, really good. Zane knows how to DI Peach down air for catching sweet spots when you try and sweet spot with Marth sub B. But Lod did this crazy thing where he had thrown a turnip up, and I don't know, he definitely didn't time this on purpose, but he and I talked about it. We're going to try and figure out how to make it happen like intentionally. But he threw the turnip up. Zane SDI'd the down airs out so Lod couldn't nair, and the turnip killed Zane. He SDI'd out into the turnip that was falling down after being thrown up.
And the turnip just killed him?
You don't have a jump at that point, because you're sweet spotting the ledge.
No, yeah, totally.
So all you're trying to do is DI away so that you can try and up B again, and you keep doing it until Peach either messes up or you mess up.
That's crazy, because I know, I forget, what Peach was this? At one of the New York Arcadians, at one of the liftoffs, I forget who the Peach was. It was against Kami, the Marth player, but he went for the same crazy Peach edgeguard every time, which was throw the turnip up, and then he would float in, waiting for the turnip to hit the Marth in and nair them and kill them that way. Because again, they just wouldn't have a jump and they would just die.
He's like baiting the high Marth recovery.
Yeah. And he fucking dropped like 6 edge guards
just
and
trying to go for it.
Lost a bunch of games because of it, and then finally he got it. We're like, oh,
that's so funny.
Okay, and then he kept going for it and it never worked again, and he lost.
Wow.
Yeah, I forget what Peach that was.
Yeah, there's a lot of tricky Peach turnip stuff, but I mean that set with Zane was tragic because Lod had the lead game too on Dreamland and he SD'd at 20.
Oh,
right. SDing as Peach feels bad. And then Lod beat Army.
Yes, Army had a crazy tournament though.
Yeah,
Army had a really good tournament. Can you pull up the bracket?
Yeah, let's pull up the bracket.
Army beat Hugo. That is 2017.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Army beat Hugo to get to 9th place. Before he fought Lod,
and he also beat someone else. He beat someone else really good too. I forget who. It'll come up in a second. Was it None that he beat?
I think he did beat None. He 3-0'd Sharks. He beat None 2-1.
He beat None.
Lost to Wizzy.
Yeah. And then...
Oh, that put him right into top 24. That put him into
top 24,
where he beat Sharks, Hugo, and he took game 1 off Lod.
Yeah.
Which, to me, was honestly not that surprising. I don't know. I talked a lot about this. I played Army one time. I told him, played game 1 against him. I ended up losing game 1. I was trying to like feel out what mix-ups he was doing. And the thing that caught me off guard about him is that where Chu would do nothing, he would use like F smash or something. And I was like, all right, let me respect this now. And then I took the next 3 games like pretty cleanly. This basically the same thing happened, where Laud was trying to feel out like what Army's, I guess, wobble setups were.
Yeah.
Like where for me it was like I'd get hit by something really strong and not be able to recover. For a lot, it was like trying to figure out when it was safe to come down.
Gotcha.
But dude, Army's the real deal. Like I haven't really been watching his matches that closely, but obviously I was watching him versus Laud. He plays neutral, man.
Yeah, he's really, really good now. I would say he is easily the best ice climbers.
Yeah, Taffa was asking about this on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
So my response to that was, I just said like, look, I know Army has the best wins recently and not that many bad losses and the most consistent placings. But the thing you have to understand is, and I put a comma and the tweet just ended there.
That's really
that was it.
People think Sharks is in contention and
for the best ICs? I mean,
well, all the ICs retired.
Yeah. Well, Chu's still playing. But he only goes to
Dude, Sharks has better wins than Chu.
Yeah.
And way, way better losses than Chu.
That's true. Hey, don't sleep on my guy, Bobby Blunts. Bob-omb.
Yeah.
The guy who beat him. Don't sleep.
Yeah.
That guy's legit.
I'm sure. I remember when he almost won that one Xanadu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's clearly Army right now.
Yeah.
Dude, did you watch Laud vs. SFAT in top 8, though?
I only caught the very ending of it. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry I'm tired. I've been preparing for a trip to Mexico soon. No, I only caught the very end of it.
It was a good set.
That was when I started watching top 8.
It was a good set. Zach kind of does, like, what I do in the matchup, where, like, you pressure Peach's shield from good positions and you call out her movement. But what he does that I don't do is he does it all spaced really well. Like I get in and I'm scrapping like from any distance because I'm like sick. I'm not Marth. I don't have to space. But he's like actually spacing everything, and it makes it way harder for Peach to do anything out of shield. Because even if she does go for like a float cancel in air, like she actually might just not hit Fox, which is really good.
Yeah.
Laud was about to lose 3-1, and he made a sick comeback on FD.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was literally like 140+% last stock. And then game 5 was also last stock.
What stage?
Battlefield, SFAT's pick. But I told Laud afterward, I was like, you know, we all know that up air probably shouldn't have, like, it wasn't going to work. That what he tried to do. He up threw Zach onto a platform. He saw the tech in place and he reacted with an up air, but Zach's percent was so low that Zach was already holding down.
And he just up smashed him.
Immediate up smash.
Yeah, I remember seeing it in the recap video.
Yeah, so Laud's response to that was, I thought that because I did a frame perfect aerial interrupt up air, I'd be able to punish. I was like, you should know you're not gonna get like that is a perfect example of him getting a little too greedy in his like Peach tech stuff.
My nairs are so much faster.
Yeah,
than that
it's like the nair's still gonna hit. Yours is just like a frame faster. But in this case, like I don't know, it was just him hoping that using a frame perfect aerial interrupt up air was gonna be enough to overcome an ASDIing downing Fox. ASDIing down Fox at like 13%.
Okay, wait.
It's not going to do
So this reminds me, 2 episodes ago, when we had our discussion about Peach playstyles.
Yeah.
I brought up that I like McCain's ability to convert off of stray hits in really weird ways a lot. And Anok messaged me on Facebook and was like, stop glorifying this Peach I can kill you off of a stray hit thing. That's not a play style. And I disagree with that so intensely, but I want to know your thoughts on it.
I don't think that really means anything. I mean, like, what straight hits is he getting that he converts off of?
Okay, maybe a better way to phrase it is in certain scramble situations that I feel like a lot of the time would just reset to maybe not always neutral, but just like facing off against each other.
Okay.
Or would reset to someone in a disadvantageous position. McCain continues a combo string as if that was an opener.
So if what sparked this is the scenario I described with Lod and SFAT.
No, not like that.
Okay.
I'm just saying McCain has these little scuffle moments that end up going overwhelmingly in his favor sometimes. And more than other players. Or it felt like that.
I wonder how much of that has to do with how the meta has changed. Because 3 years ago, Lod would have killed Zach off of that up air.
True.
Because Zach wouldn't have been holding down.
True.
And an up air popping Fox up at that low percent is an instant down smash or tech chase regrab that's free on that platform. Especially because it was a frame cancel, auto cancel up air. Frame perfect.
That's a good point.
Aerial interrupt up air. So a lot of those straight hits at lower percents don't go anywhere in this meta.
Yeah, I think more what I'm thinking of is like, that's a really good point, but I mean like in situations where it feels like McCain should be losing and then he does a really dumb nair out of hit stun or down smash, a lot of the times those dumb decisions or just like someone getting knocked away from him because he trades with them, McCain just sees any hit stun and is like, well, it's time to kill them now. And I felt like he was always really good at turning that into let's kill them now, which often meant that it looked really stupid when McCain got kills because it was off of situations that he did not earn at all. But I think being able to kill someone off of a random quote unquote hit is something that you can have as a playstyle. Absolutely.
I don't know. You're not convincing me.
I think it totally is possible.
I'm leaning towards Anok's ideology on this one.
I don't know if it's I don't know. Why not?
I mean, I don't know if I would classify that as a play style. Like the ability to react to getting like an accidental straight hit or just I mean, you could also be another way to frame what I think you're saying is when put in disadvantage, McCain is always mashing buttons.
Yeah, totally.
That's not necessarily good.
I don't know that I don't think it is always necessarily good. That's why I think it's exactly a play style. It sometimes leads to good things for him, and sometimes leads to bad things.
That sounds. I would say that's more of a habit than a play style.
That's what fucking play styles are built around a lot of the time.
A playstyle is more to do with your strategy and your approach to the game. I don't know if I would say McCain's approach to the game is to always mash buttons in disadvantage.
That is his approach to the game. So
his approach to the game is to get put into disadvantage and then try to get a counter hit by mashing buttons.
No, it is.
That's how you would frame like what you would call a playstyle.
No, but I think that maybe he's more comfortable getting put in disadvantage and taking things that'll put him in that place because he has this weird ability to sometimes make those situations work out well for him. It's not necessarily a good thing that he does. I just think it is something.
You know, McCain hasn't played in so long that I don't know if I believe anything you're saying.
That's pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
I believe everything I'm saying.
Okay.
I believe everything I'm saying.
McCain, come back. Show these peach guys what's good.
There was that brief period of time he came back like a year ago and he did really well at a bunch of SoCal locals.
Yeah.
He still didn't win them because McCain doesn't win SoCal locals.
Right.
He gets second.
Winning SoCal locals is pretty hard.
Yeah. It's so sad. He still never won. He never won an SSS.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
All right. Where does that leave us?
I don't know. Where does that leave us? Zach immediately. I was so ready for Zane to play Zach in losers again after he lost to M2K, but it was on the other side of the bracket.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
Who did Zane lose to in winners? Plup, right?
Or yeah, sorry, to Plup. That's what I meant. Yeah.
Okay. Plup still doesn't know how to edgeguard Marth.
Yep.
Why? I don't understand. I think He's addressed it. Like, people have told him this thing specifically.
He got it a few times, but like the second to last stock he got on Zane was with a needle edge guard. But game 5 was a wash. He just sort of shit on Zane.
Yeah, the needles are fine. Like, he was trying that.
But you mean like Sammy stalling
like,
and
the
stuff?
Sammy stall should be like level 1.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, he definitely played better than he did before. Like, his punishes were looking better. Neutral was similar. I think it's impressive that Plup plays grounded footsies with Zane Marth. Like, a lot of his neutral wins come off of the ground. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But it was a decent set. Like, closer than I think a lot of people thought it would be.
It was okay. I felt like Zane wasn't playing at Plup's level the whole time.
Yeah.
And he just had a couple crazy Zane punish game moments.
Yeah, I could see that.
Like, which obviously makes you feel like, okay, he played amazingly in those moments, and he did. But in terms of neutral wins and stuff, it sort of felt like Plup was winning the whole time.
Also, I should say Marth's punish game is better on Sheik than Sheik's is on Marth.
Yeah, totally.
Like, that's how I beat Swedish for the first time at Genesis last year. It's like neutral was kind of even-ish, but when I got an opening, it was like up throw, aerial, dare, tipper, something happens. Like, Marth gets hella damage on Sheik off openings.
Yeah.
And, like, one of the reasons that historically, like, conventional wisdom is that Sheik beats Marth is because, like, the meta was never developed to a point where Marth's neutral was keeping up with Sheik. Like, Sheik was getting too many openings for free. But now you can hold down on tilts, and now you can, know exactly how to DI Sheik's down throw to minimize her follow-ups, etc., etc. It's still not, like, it's not free for Marth by any means, but he definitely wins the punish game if he gets an opening.
I felt like Zane, at least in top 8, I didn't see him versus Kevin.
I didn't see it either.
Which was the first time he's ever beaten Kevin. So
correct, yeah.
That's cool. But what I did see of him, he felt very hot and cold the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, mostly cold, and then just with his punish game in certain moments being, like, the typical amazing Zane play that we see.
Yeah.
But it didn't feel like a super high standard for most of his play the entire time. I think that was true against Wizzy too. He had to claw his way back into some of those things where
I am kind of glad to see though that on like a weekend where we might agree that he's not playing like with the fire that he was playing at Summit and maybe at Gommel and Losers, things like that. Yeah. Like, his baseline is still enough to again get into top 8 at a major.
Yeah, and almost got fucking winner's side top 8 first of all.
Yeah.
And then almost got 4th place.
Almost, yeah.
Or higher. He, legit, Wizzy just had to claw. Wizzy had the craziest comeback.
Yeah.
Game 4.
Game 4 was Zane's game.
That was... Oh, my God.
Yeah.
But that was the thing, is once Wizzy started that comeback, because he was down so much, like 2 stocks and almost 100%, maybe even 100%.
Yeah, something like that.
And but as soon as he took that first stock, I felt that the momentum was, because Zane wasn't playing like super hot.
You also know that Zane has it in his head where it's like, I keep losing these tight scenarios to Wizzy. And that's like a real thing. Like, that's been happening with Junebug and Laud for a long time, where Junebug kept losing Game 5 last hit scenarios that he actually just started forfeiting to Laud because he was getting so mentally exhausted.
Yeah.
Same thing was happening here with Zane and Wizzy, where it's like it's a lot of pressure to not. I don't know. It's a lot of pressure to not let yourself start thinking about the result.
Well, and I think you could see that a little bit in that the way Wizzy took those stocks was the same every time, pretty much.
Up air knee.
Well, yeah, up air knee, but also he got a shit ton of percent it was always on the left side of Yoshi's. Wizzy up threw him onto the platform at like 30%, so Zane had to tech. And the first time he went for it, he rolled to
tech roll in.
Yeah,
down air.
He tech rolled in, and Wizzy missed the stomp on him. And then every time after that, it happened literally 3 times after that, Zane tech rolled in, and Wizzy got a down air.
Yeah, you're right.
Every single time.
Yep.
And then after that, he would just be able to knee, and even if it didn't kill Zane, up throw stomp knee is 40-something%.
Dude, the way
it's more than that.
You're definitely right. He got that exact combo multiple times. Yeah. And the way he just landed, speaking of converting off stray hits at a disadvantage, the way he would just happen to land an up air.
Yeah.
And then just find a knee.
Yeah. That last combo that he got in that Game 4 comeback.
That's even true.
I could not believe he got that last up air. It was so crazy.
Yeah, it wasn't even true. Zane jumped into the knee. That was a ridiculous set. I feel so bad for Zane. Like you can see it on his face.
I feel bad for Zane, but not that bad. Not as bad as the Genesis. Was it Genesis?
Genesis and Full Bloom.
Yeah, not as bad as the Genesis set.
Yeah.
Because the Genesis set, they both played horrible in the ending.
Yeah, definitely.
And Zane just played more horrible.
This time,
Zane played mediocre, and Wizzy just played amazing at the end, honestly. Like, it looked really, like, it looked like bad melee, but Wizzy had the confidence and the clutch factor, and so he took that win.
Hashtag,
as opposed to Zane throwing it away.
Hashtag Greenwall, hashtag Wizrod. That's all I have to say on that.
Wizzy also made Nunn was on the verge of making a really big comeback against Wizzy in their 4 top 8 match.
Yeah.
In their top 8. Sorry, in their top 8 match, and taking it to Game 5, and then Wizzy was just like, nope, and shut him down.
I didn't even watch that set, man. I'm bored of watching Falcon Dittos.
It's really crazy to watch, because what happens is when you watch those matches, you feel like Nunn should never fucking win a game.
Yeah, honestly.
And he still does, because what'll happen is Wizzy will get a grab and he will just tech chase perfectly, and it's so infuriating to even watch just Nunn not be able to get out of it. And then Nunn will get a grab and he'll like down throw Wizzy. Wizzy will DI all the way away, and Nunn will fake the read on the roll away, and then like pivot and stomp the roll in, and then read Wizzy's roll away and knee it out, like not even go for the knee, like let him roll again and knee him, and you're like, this doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
you should have just not been.
That's the Nunn, man.
Oh, it's so fucking funny.
They're actual opposites.
Yeah, no, they totally are. I remember, I forget what, this might have been on the Scar and Toph show or something, but it was Scar and Toph talking about, or on like the reads, and they were talking about the differences between Falcon playstyles. And it was a guest who was on the reads. It was Westballs or someone was talking. Westballs wasn't on the reads, but anyways. Westballs at one point was talking about on commentary, I think it might have been Holiday Bash commentary, about how like Nunn doesn't just guess every time. People say that, but it's not true. It's not true. And they were watching the Nunn game, and then they saw Nunn legitimately just guess every time, and he was like, okay, wait. Yeah. It was at Summit or at a Holiday Bash or something.
That sounds like Holiday Bash, I want to say.
Yeah, it was so fucking funny.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I mean, Nunn is crazy.
Nunn's nuts, dude. Nunn was so happy. He was tweeting about how he did well because it wasn't UCF, dude.
I mean,
I have said this before, though. I think he's one of the few players who has a legitimate grievance against UCF.
The pivots thing?
It's not just the pivots thing. I think that Nunn does a lot of, like, not even pivots, but I think he does a lot of, like, just turnaround stuff. Like, slow turnaround stuff.
Oh.
And not getting a run for shield pressure. And I think a lot of the time he gets a run when he doesn't mean to. Or a dash when he doesn't mean to.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I haven't watched him enough to really comment, or watched him like with that in mind to really take note of it.
It sounds like actually insane, because what it would mean is that he's doing the 2-frame input a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Like a 2-frame, what is like within 2 frames to get a turnaround as opposed to a dashback. But I think it might actually be true, because Nunn uses like cross you up, turnaround F tilt to shield pressure a lot.
Yeah.
So
I'd be curious to like watch some of his games and take note of whether or not he does something and then dashes and looks like he didn't mean to.
Yeah. I don't know.
UCF is better than vanilla.
Yeah,
I just want to put that out there for anyone who's listening.
I agree. I just think he's
that would be like one. So that's like a one super minor possibility that may or may not be true.
The only reason I even like entertain it is because Nunn's fucking around when he says UCF causes pivots. He's not like the Moon.
Phantoms.
Sorry, causes phantoms.
Yeah.
Nunn is absolutely
he's not like Moon.
He's not like Moon.
Moon believes it.
Moon believes it.
Yeah.
Nunn just hates UCF and is using it as a meme thing to get people to stop using UCF.
It's like what Trump does. Like, you just find a movement that people are believing, and you kind of
I don't know about this comparison. I don't know about that one.
You know?
Oof. Yikes.
This is the anti-fact era, guys. This is how it works.
I mean, I need to watch
For those of you who are listening, Zane is nodding vigorously in agreement.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was doing. Speaking of anti-fact era, glad we're joining that movement.
Yeah.
I need to watch the Nun documentary.
I was going to mention that.
Yeah, I actually just remembered that Neptune told me to watch it. And was like, shout it out.
Came out last week.
And I really wanted to watch it, so I'll watch it, and if we like it, I'll shout it out next week.
Yeah, we'll check it out.
I know that Nunn personally did a shit ton of the work on it.
Really? That's awesome.
All the translations are him.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, all the captions are him.
That's awesome.
So,
we'll check it out this week.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about it next week.
Yeah.
After we've watched it, of course.
Yes. Or if we're sticking with anti-fact era.
We'll just talk about it now.
We'll just talk about it now.
It was really great.
I love the cinematography.
Yeah.
But I did think the story decisions were a little bit rushed. The third act didn't really hold up for me.
All right.
We're going to take a break before we get into the third act of this podcast.
Yeah.
Of this episode.
We'll be right back, guys.
Yo, what's up, guys? This week, we're actually shouting out something of our own. We made a Patreon, and it should be live at the time of you hearing this podcast. So if you want to support us making the podcast, potentially support us doing more trips to events, doing more stuff like we did with the Nintendo Store episode, consider supporting us on Patreon.
Yeah, as always, the podcasts are going to remain free, but for now, we're going to be releasing one new reward for people who decide to support us on Patreon. So once a month, we're going to do a live chat with our patrons. We'll be doing it over Discord, and anyone who has the Patreon Discord role that will be available to patrons can join in, and we'll talk about a lot.
We will have a lot to talk about. But yeah, we just want to chat with you guys. You know, you can obviously reach us right now through the Discord, but this will be a chance for you to talk to us in person, sort of.
So to speak.
So to speak. And yeah, we're going to have that. We also are obviously open to a bunch of other different reward stuff too. And we want to hear what you guys want. So if you have any ideas for content, stuff you would be willing to pay us to do, then let us know, and we will absolutely add that to the Patreon. But for now, just head on over to that page. And if you feel like you can, pledge us some money.
Yep, you can find the links in the descriptions, or just go to patreon.com/analogcast.
Yep, thanks, guys.
What's up, Analogians? We're back here with episode 14, talking about CEO 2018.
Yep, that is what we're doing. And we still have arguably the biggest parts of the tournament to talk about, because we saw some very interesting character picks.
Yeah,
in the last few matches. Most
notably, Leffen still sticking it out with Android 21.
Yes. Okay, and here's actually, so you tweeted at me, and you sent me that clip of Leffen versus Goichi, which was incredibly fucking hype.
No, I sent you. That's not the clip that I sent.
Is it not? I just assumed that was.
No, it's not.
Oh, you didn't send me that?
Did you not see the clip that I sent you?
Wait, no, send me it.
Okay, well, give them the context of what I was saying.
Well, so I've said for a while that I think DB Fighters is a great game, but because characters sort of look the same and there's not a lot of At the beginning, there wasn't a lot of combo expression. That's actually changed already, and it's not as true. But because of that that DB fighters would be a little boring to watch. And Rishi sent me a tweet and was like, "Oh, you said DB fighters wasn't going to be fun. Look at..."
Well, what I said to you when we were talking about this, and it was on the podcast, right?
Yeah.
I was like, can't you imagine, like, the whole Evo arena, like, yelling out with the father-son, all this, whatever crap goes on. All right, we're going to turn the volume up on my laptop so you guys can hear the clip that we're going to play that I tweeted to Zane.
Here we go.
I was dying when I heard this. I thought it was so funny.
I'm salivating right now. Well, I gotta see the intro too. I want to hear this arena make some noise for this. Uh-oh. Yes! Asphalt on the ground.
Wait, and it's not done.
Back, ditto. I see you. Cell versus cell.
And then they just go into it. Doesn't that get you so hyped?
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that's what you sent me. That was really funny.
Still watching that clip, I get so hyped.
I thought you had sent me the Goichi left in face down.
It's all about the culture, man. DVFZ, it's all about the culture.
All right. The Goichi left in face down was sick, though. And it was...
Well, real quick, if you guys don't know what clip I'm talking about, in the Japanese voice dub of DVFZ, in the intro... Cell does like a charge up and he just yells "ah!"
Yeah,
and the whole crowd does it every time, and it's so funny.
It was good.
But yeah, Goichi.
Nikhil, did you see Nakiel did all of the sounds at Smash Summit? Nakiel has like a great Goku impression and would do all of the Goku's annoying Japanese like screams. It was really funny.
I have to watch that. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it was great. Love and Goichi was hype. It happened way too early because the seating was bad at this time.
You don't say.
But it was super hype. And it actually, I'm going to have my rebuttal that I had planned anyway, since I thought that was the clip you sent me.
All right.
Which is that Android 21 is one of the only characters who does not look like other characters and whose combo strings look significantly different.
I see.
And so it is very hype to watch Android 21. But also, I was sort of wrong, and I did say when I said that eventually I think people would come up with more exciting combos and more optimized TOD stuff, and they totally have already. And
the game looks sick.
Yeah.
People are really hyped about it. We're seeing a lot of I was about to say we're seeing a lot of different teams, but pretty much every team has Cell and Cell Kid Buu or Cell Vegeta, but Cell didn't win the tournament.
No.
Can you believe that we're living in a world where Kazunoko won CEO in Dragon Ball FighterZ? That's so sick.
His team is so sick. The adult Gohan Yamcha combo is just brutal, dude. It's amazing.
Did you see Apology Man's entrance into CEO?
I didn't. I saw people talking about it, but I didn't see it.
I have that.
Was it? It was Whole New World, right?
No, that was Zane.
Sorry, not Whole New World.
Wow. This is a classic example of the old Brown switch 'em up.
Dude, I didn't see like any of the entrances. I didn't see any of the entrances.
Man, we know which half of you made that switch up.
I know, because I remember now when I was watching Top 8, Toph called Zane Aladdin, and people were like, what the fuck? And then everyone was like, no, it was his intro.
Whole New World, yeah. Right, I'll show you later.
Yeah,
but
okay.
Basically, Apology Man came out with the third eye on his forehead because he plays TN.
God, that's
and
sick.
he had this other guy named Timo. I don't know who he was, but people know who he is. With full-on Chaozu face paint. And then they got into the ring, and I guess they had told Kazunoko about this because he's playing Kazunoko, and he points to Kazunoko, and Chaozu goes and like hugs him and explodes, and Apology Man's like, no, he does the animation, and then Kazunoko is lying on the floor in an exact replica of the Yamcha passed out on the ground scene, and then CEO Production, shoutouts to CEO Production, uses their eagle eye camera to zoom in directly above him, and you get a perfect replica
That's sick.
of Yamcha's death.
That's amazing.
It was so
okay. I saw an image of Kazunoko.
That's what it was.
Photoshopped into the Yamcha scene, and I did not understand where it was from. All right, that's really fucking funny.
Yeah.
That's great.
That inspired me. Just all of DBFZ at this tournament. I was streaming DBFZ last night too because I was so pumped about it.
The Smash entrances I saw were really lame, and then the Smash 4 ones they fucked better. Up the music. So
yeah,
that was sad.
Yeah, they're better than Melee's.
Melee's were so bad, and people were saying, well, we had no time between bracket and top 8, so we couldn't spend time.
That is partially true.
Which is true. Yeah. But they were really dumb. Fuck Hbox's entrance. That is so stupid.
Yeah, where he just I don't even know what he was playing. I just saw him.
All-Star by Smash Mouth.
I don't have any comment on that.
Yeah. Yep.
The Street Fighter entrances were pretty sick. Obviously, everyone has seen Infiltrations.
Yeah, Infiltrations was amazing.
If you guys have not seen it, just go watch it. Look at Panda Global's Twitter.
Infiltration's my favorite fucking person in all of FGC.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about him, about his personality, because I've only seen him be in serious mode.
Oh no, he's fucking crazy. So Infiltration's reputation before too was that, in Street Fighter 4, he ended the game as just playing every single character.
Really?
And yeah, so at Street Fighter 4 at EVO 2015, which was the last tournament for that, basically. Infiltration played 4 different characters and just randomly switched between them, and it was sick as fuck.
Is Infiltration the Akuma player? Or is that someone else?
No, that's Takedo.
Yeah. Takedo plays. Right.
In 4, Infiltration played... he switched between Elena, Juri, and who else? I'm forgetting his main, which is really sad, but yeah. No, he's fucking sick, and he's a huge troll. He had a picture of him eating ass pretty much.
He's perfect for Panda.
Yeah, he's perfect for Panda.
Dude, he won 6 rounds in a row.
Yeah.
To make a 3-0 comeback.
Yeah.
I don't remember who it was again. I was half paying attention to Street Fighter.
But he didn't win.
Yeah.
Fucking I forget his name. The guy who won.
I don't remember.
Some dude I barely know.
Fighting games are sick, man.
Yeah.
All the big ones are pretty sick.
Yeah.
But back on track. Leffen's Android 21
is also sick. He said he found a way to keep her.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah, he's labbing out Cell, Kid Buu, and Android 21. Yeah. But everyone has kind of said this, where you can literally play any character if you have Cell and Kid Buu on your team.
Yeah.
So I don't see why he shouldn't be able to play Android 21 with those 2 characters.
Yeah.
I kind of hope that Cell gets nerfed so that we see more character diversity, because Cell's a really sick character, but he's the best character by a solid margin.
Yeah.
Where he's basically a staple on 90% of competitive teams. But yeah. Anyways,
I agree, but I don't know what characters I would want to see more of.
I'm working on my Zamasu.
Yeah, Zamasu would be
sick. Character is pretty sick.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of characters in that game.
Yeah, and there's more coming.
Let's get Nappa in the top tier.
Nappa top tier. That'd be cool.
I think he's actually the worst character.
Yeah, currently. I think most people think it's either him or Ginyu, right?
No, Ginyu's definitely not the worst.
Oh, really?
Ginyu has some tricks, man.
Well, I know he does, but
yeah.
Okay.
But he's low tier, but he's low tier with other characters. Okay.
I want to see Sword Trunks. I want to see Teen Trunks be better. Future Trunks.
That's the only Trunks.
Is there the only Trunks in the game? I don't know.
What other Trunks is there?
Well, in other Dragon Ball games, Kid Trunks shows up.
Really?
And yeah, and adult Trunks, who goes Super Saiyan 2. Yeah, they've been separate characters in Budokai.
That's weird.
In Budokai Tenkaichi,
there's Gotenks, but it's just Trunks.
In Budokai Tenkaichi, Kid Trunks is his own character, and then there's Teenage Trunks, Future Trunks, and then there's adult Trunks from not Super, but adult Trunks who is still Future Trunks
from
but came
GT.
Back. No, in Z, just in Z for the Cell arc.
Oh, that Trunks.
Yeah, that Trunks, which is basically the same Trunks, but he was a different
timeline.
He was a different character.
Yeah. Okay.
It was a different character.
There's just one Trunks in DBFZ. It's Trunks parentheses future.
Yeah, well,
or something.
He's always been my favorite incarnation of Trunks, anyways, because he has a sword. So
yeah, my wish list is Caulifla. I want her to be in DBFZ, but I think the next characters are base Vegeta and base Goku.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's talk about Melee.
Yeah, let's talk about Melee. Let's talk about M2K's Marth first, because the other character switch we want to spend more time on, probably. But M2K went Marth versus Wizzy. Interesting
choice. I didn't get to watch those games too closely. When I did look over and take a look, Mewtwo was on the ledge. It brings up a really interesting point. Like, is Mewtwo better than Zane? It's a pretty hot topic.
I've finally been able to sniff out when I can ignore what you're going to say, like the next sentence. Because you're pretty good at masking it, but I've finally been able to sniff it out. It's actually just when what you say next sounds like it's going to be serious. Right. Like, then it is guaranteed going to be complete bullshit.
Gotta work on my mix-ups.
Hi, is M2K better than Zane? Is the guy who won Summit and has been a top 6 player for his entire career better than Zane? That's such a good question, Rishi.
Well, I'm not talking about lifetime. I'm talking about right now.
Yeah, yes. You don't have to be better than M2K to be like the quickest rising player in the world.
Are you sure?
I'm 100% sure.
Because when I checked Reddit, let me tell you.
Oh my god. It's very good.
Just name search Zane.
I'm glad you're bringing this up, because M2K is categorically a better player than Zane, because you just look at the results. Zane is sick and he does so much shit M2K should do. M2K is better.
I'm gonna tell Zane you said that.
To tell Zane he should have won Summit.
I will. I'm gonna tell him you said that.
Great.
And then we'll see who's better than Mewtwo. Next week on Analog,
Plup, Hungry Bucks, Armada, Weapon.
Next week on
Analog,
I
named for you who's better than him.
Zane fights Zane IRL on Analog. It'll be audio only.
God. Well, but the thing that I wanted to see with this is, so he didn't end up getting to play HBox after that, because Plup lost in winners.
Yeah.
But I would have liked to see, does that mean...
No. It does not mean.
No, you don't think he'll ever pull out the Marth for against...
I think it's possible, but I didn't think this weekend would be that weekend. And if he did, I think he would have gotten washed.
What do you think about... So M2K played 4 characters at this tournament.
That he did.
What did you think about his Puff versus HBox?
Dude, I mean, I am not as much of a hater as most people seem to be on the Mewtwo Puff.
He
Puff 2 King.
He actually just needed to lame him out at the end and he would have won.
Yeah.
He had a huge lead.
It was that close. Like, I don't know. We don't have that much data against HBox in the Puff Ditto. But last time he fought a Puff, you know,
he lost game 1.
He lost game 1, and that Puff was Toussaint. And like, I mean, obviously Toussaint's good, but he's, you know, we're talking about who's better between Zane and Mewtwo. I'm pretty sure HBox is better than Toussaint.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Yeah, I liked the Puff Ditto, actually. I was on Discord with a friend because we were just catching up, and she was like, "Oh, I don't want to watch this." And I was like, "This is actually, I'm sort of enjoying watching this."
And I think Armada has mentioned it. Like, if top players really wanted to stop HBox from winning tournaments, they should sit down with each other and practice Puff Dittos. And honestly, if Mewtwo found someone else really, really good at Puff to practice with, like, even if he did it with Plup,
that's what I was about to say.
Or if he just did it with Toussaint at tournaments, because I know Toussaint's down to play, or if he did it with Abi, if Abi ever goes to tournaments, I would not be that surprised to see Mewtwo start finding success against HBox.
I think
it's better long term than his Fox.
I also think it actually exposed a weakness HBox has been showing a little bit recently, which is that HBox, more than any other top 5 player, top 6 player, he just will randomly have really bad DI sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Just really, really randomly, where he'll die way, way earlier than he should have. And a lot of M2K's kills in that Dreamland game were bears at like 120 that HBox totally could have lived, and he just DI'd out and died.
He actually knows very little about the game. And I'm not saying this as like a diss. Like, he'll tell you himself.
No, he does say that.
It's almost a point of pride to be the best player at the game and not know, like...
I do want to say, HBox will say that himself if you ask him. He will always say, yeah, you know, without Puff, I'd be fucking trash at this game. I don't actually understand the game. I don't know how much he himself actually believes it, even if it might be somewhat true. Okay. I think he says it a little bit as like a to humble myself, quote unquote, but not really thing. I think HBox thinks he's pretty good at Melee.
Well, you know, knowing about Melee is very different from being good at it. I think he fully understands that he's very good at the game.
Okay,
but he'll concede that he doesn't know that much about it, like outside of
yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Like we were at Smash Valley this year. I was playing him. I don't remember what set we were watching, but Duck was playing, and I mentioned an aerial interrupt, and he was like, "I actually don't know what that is. Like, can you tell me?"
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
That kind of thing.
Yeah. No. That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. I think he does legitimately know that he doesn't know that much, but he will also sometimes say, "I'm not that good at Melee itself as a game. Puff is the only reason I'm good."
Well, that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think he knows it doesn't mean anything. Yeah. It just sort of sounds as if it's a cool story.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, obviously he's really, really good at Melee.
Yeah.
Which again is very, very different from knowing about Melee. Because
he's good at winning at Melee.
I always say this, that there's like separate skill sets in terms of one, like Melee knowledge, and two, competing skill set. And like you can know a crap load about Melee and not ever place well in tournaments. And there are a lot of people like that. That's all I'll say on that.
I know a lot about Melee. I know a ton about how the game works and stuff. I don't place well in tournaments.
But HBox, I mean, he knows what he needs to know to win.
Yeah.
And that's what he does. But, you know, maybe Mewtwo King wanted to test the breadth of his knowledge.
I know what an aerial interrupt is. And speaking of things I know about Melee, this is the perfect transition to the other big character switch we saw, which was Plup's Sheik versus HBox. And for me, first of all, I was very happy about this because I think I've been wanting Plup to go Sheik against HBox for a really, really, really long time. He's always been the absolute best at the matchup other than Swedish. Even when he played HBox, he just got so fucking tilted at it.
Okay.
And we've talked so much about how people need to just stop going Fox every time.
Yeah.
And Plup's Fox is obviously amazing, and it had a play style that really threw HBox off.
Probably HBox's hardest Fox right now.
Well, I don't know if right now... Well, he did win... He won that one tournament.
Maybe besides Armada...
I don't think, but I think HBox has adapted to Plup a good amount.
Yeah,
it's been a while since Plup really did that well with his Fox.
I believe it.
So I've been wanting him to go Sheik for a while. I think he's really, really good at the matchup.
Yeah, he is.
He is really good at the matchup.
Yep.
HBox adapted really well and beat him, but Plup Sheik is like the only Sheik that plays that well in the entire world. So I think I was really happy to see it.
So I think people are too quick to jump to like now he's gonna go all Sheik, or now he's just gonna go Sheik on like this stage or that stage. I definitely respect the choice to play based off of how you're I think you should listen to your body and listen to like your resting state of mind. Like if playing Fox was gonna be a significant exertion that would cause like some sort of mental resistance, I don't know how to describe it exactly, but sometimes the state that you're in just works more naturally with one of your other characters. And that's something I've explored a lot recently myself, having put significant practice into dual maining Marth and Fox. So I totally understand like feeling like Sheik was the better move, and he won set 1.
Yeah, he did.
He took the set against HBox
with Zelda too.
Dude,
so many fucking with Zelda, dash attack. Oh my god, it was so sick.
People I see it's only in these last hit scenarios. Like, here's what I want to ask: is it just the pressure of fighting Zelda in the last hit scenarios, 1? Or 2, does Zelda actually jump a few tiers when it's a next hit's gonna kill type scenario?
Oh, 100%. 100%. No, absolutely. She has one of the longest range, most adaptable recoveries in the game. Obviously, if you can't sweet spot, it's sort of easy to punish, but like one of the best recoveries in the game. She has 2 very fast moves that trade and kill when they trade.
And they kill at like 80 or 90.
No, she absolutely jumps a few tiers.
Forward air and back air if you guys aren't.
Yeah.
And Puff was at 130, 40, 50 plus. Dash attack's obviously going to kill at that percent. But she also has one of the slowest run speeds in the game. She basically doesn't have out of shield options. Mm-hmm. So it's like...
Well, so that's part of why... That's part of why... she does... That's another reason why she does better in those last hit scenarios, because realistically what HBox should have done once it was clear Pup was going to play Zelda is just circle camp him. And like just be
can't
like...
catch you.
You literally can't catch me.
Zelda literally cannot, yeah.
Yeah, if you try and catch me, you have expended your double jump and your lightning kick, and I bear you and you're dead. Yeah. And that's it. So that's what he probably should have done, but...
Either circle camping or crouching, or both.
Yeah, yeah.
Because Zelda can't beat Puff's crouch.
Yeah. But he didn't. And it was because it was the last dock scenario.
Game 5,
Game 5 scenario, obviously. So, yeah. Actually, my girlfriend was watching with me for this because I told her, like, I actually want to watch because I haven't watched a lot of the tournaments Rishi and I talked about in a while. And she got very excited for that, too. And she was like, no, yeah, because Zelda's recovery is so much better. I was like, yeah.
It is. I mean, he went all the way across the stage.
Yeah.
HBox couldn't catch him.
She pitched that she should come on the podcast as a guest and just ask us questions about Melee. Her first questions. No. Like, why doesn't HBox respect women?
What? Oh boy.
Yeah.
That'll be an interesting episode.
Yeah. So.
Should we do a double feature where you fight Zane and she asks questions?
That might be good. Yeah.
Maybe we can do it at the same time.
We also talked about having her and Jake on the podcast at the same time.
That'll be fun.
Which would be...
That'd be so fun.
Terrible, but great. But the reason... So, sorry, I made this transition with knowing a lot about the game. There has been this one specific... So when I'm very drunk and I go home and I want to play Melee by myself, I practice Marth chain grabs, and I practice Sheik reaction tech chasing, and then when I'm really, really drunk, I practice Sheik needle interrupts.
Yeah.
Which is... it's the same thing as a laser land with Fox, but she can do it. So basically, if you full hop through a platform, this is not the same thing as Sheik's short hop no impact land on Stadium and Yoshi's.
Yeah.
It is if you full hop through a platform and start your needles a little bit before you go through the platform, what it'll look like is Sheik will just be rising through the platform and she'll just stop and she'll be charging needles right there. And Plup was doing it in between stocks. I don't think he ever used it like effectively against HBox. It's
kind of like,
but he was doing it on Dreamland, and it's so fucking good. And literally no Sheik player does it, except Flash used to do it before he retired.
It's I mean, the practical use, because you go into a needle charge animation, realistically all you can do is anything out of shield, but that makes it really good for regrabs on a platform.
Do you go into shield when you cancel needles?
Yeah. Well,
no, you can just press L and stop charging needles. You can do...
Actually, yeah, you're right.
No, you can do anything that you could do out of stand.
But it's not quite as fast as a laser land, though. Because you're still going through an animation.
An animation of canceling the needles.
But
what the biggest use for it, in my opinion, is if someone is on a platform, you do that needle cancel to land, and then you grab them.
That's what I was saying.
You run forward grab.
Okay.
But you wouldn't have to be in shield before that.
Right.
You could go immediately into dash grab.
Right.
Yeah, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And you can also... There's actually other stuff you can do with it, too, where you can... Connor actually did do a tutorial on it a little bit, but it was closer to doing the like short hop needle thing on Pokemon Stadium on SSBM tutorials. But what you can do, too, is you can do it and on Pokemon Stadium and stuff, you can actually throw the needle and then do something.
I see.
And so, but other things you can do is like you can do it and then do an immediate fair, like drop through fair.
Yeah.
Or Isaiah drop fair. You would have to walk forward a little bit, but yeah, or shield drop fair.
Right.
Yeah, it's really, really good because it's essentially an aerial interrupt onto a platform with just a little bit of lag from canceling the needles.
But it's faster than a Waveland.
Way faster.
And Wavelands can be tech in place spot dodged.
Yes.
If you're gonna try and Waveland grab.
It's way faster than a Waveland. My actual favorite thing for it that I've tested before. I've only managed to get this once on a CPU dummy. I went into 20XX and I made it so they would always DI straight up, and I put them at like 40%, and I would dare them, and then I would needle, so they would just go straight up.
Yeah. And
then I would needle cancel, and then I would do a tipper up smash.
That's sick.
It's really fucking hard to do.
I was thinking about doing needle cancel tilts.
That's also amazing.
Up tilt.
Yeah. That's also amazing.
Yeah.
But it's like for regrab scenarios, like the Waveland on thing with Marth, when you do an up throw, it's really useful for that. Sheik has less ways to get someone into that position from the ground, but it's still like...
Well, down throw.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens all the time. To get them onto a platform.
Yeah. I guess against... I'm
You're a spacey.
This is... You can tell I only practice this. I'm practicing reaction tech chasing with Sheik, so I'm always against a spacey. But yes, actually, totally. Against Marth and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You just do that, and then you can needle cancel on. You can change the direction you're facing while doing it. And then you just press L, and then you press A, or you press L and then Z, and...
Yeah.
And yeah, it's really good.
I'm going to start messing around with that more. That's the tech I always forget to practice.
It's so sick.
When I'm trying to style.
It's so sick.
Yeah. All right, we have one last topic to touch on today.
Yeah.
How do we even start this one?
So one of the big upsets over the weekend was that Ginger lost to Aracune, who is number 1 on the CFL power rankings. Aracune has been called out multiple times by people in the community for...
Not the CFL community.
No.
The Smash community
in the large. Smash community. Very specifically not the CFL community.
Yes.
Although there are some people there who have said that they...
But largely...
No, largely women in the scene who have called him out for being a harasser and for, when the whole Risu thing was going down, he was very, very against Risu and was like, get the fuck out of our community, you bitch. And so what happened is Ginger, after losing to Aracune, made a tweet about how it sucks to hear people cheering for this sort of person. Yeah,
and then after he lost, he didn't fist bump Aracune, and people like some of Aracune's people, I guess like got on stage. Ginger said like HBox was one of them. Who did. And it's just like the controversy stems from the fact that like there's a lot of recorded toxicity that comes from Aracune, but not everyone in the Smash community has been convinced to condemn that toxicity.
Yeah, and not everyone even thinks it's toxic. Crunch was defending him and was like, you can't find it now. Crunch deleted his Twitter.
That's what I was going to check to see if it's still deleted or not. Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah, but Crunch was defending him and being like, Dom's a nice guy in real life. You just don't get his humor, his toxic humor.
He was saying that it was like he's just trolling, or like you should know not to take it seriously. And in my experience, when someone sees that kind of incessant toxic behavior, and believes that and I don't know, I don't want to speak specifically about this with regard to Crunch because I don't know his relation to this scenario.
Totally.
But I mean, more generally, when I see someone who is not condemning this kind of behavior outright, and they're trying to rationalize it as trolling or something of the sort, usually indicates to me that this person has been subject to that type of toxicity, and that's how it's been rationalized to them. So maybe that happened in Crunch's case. I have no idea, but I'm just saying, like, for in general, if that's a response that I see with regard to Arakune, then my instinct is to believe that, like, at some point down the line, either Arakune himself or someone close to him has told these people who have been victims of this type of toxicity and harassment it's just a joke, and
which is fucking stupid, because jokes can still hurt people. And also a lot of people were tossing around that that's just how he is online, which is bullshit, because your online actions absolutely define who you are as a person too. You're not a separate person when you're online in any way. So that was all fucking stupid. And something actually that Mewtwo Queen brought up was, it's a little sus that after people talking about how Arakune has been harassing women for a good 2 months and was very much on the Mike Young side of all the CFL drama, and very, very horrible to Risu. Like, it took Ginger being like, this guy was a dickhead, I can't believe people cheered for him, for people to be like, to call him out, to call out Arakune, which is really shitty. Yeah. And that sucks. So I was very glad that it got called out, because I felt like for a while Arakune has been someone who is a shithead online and just gets away with it because of the people around him. Yeah. So I was really glad to see it, and then I was also really glad to see, I see you pulled this up, but Arakune did say, I need to... It actually seemed like he had a realization as a result of this.
So he's been saying that he's trying to improve. It's hard to follow this thread because some of the tweets get deleted or something. But basically, he has said that he's trying to improve, but I don't want to like have that be like, oh, then it's all cool, because apparently he has said that for a long time. Yes. And a lot of the toxicity still comes out, and I spoke with him briefly over this Twitter conversation that is public, so you guys can find it if you want to see it. I basically said, like, you know, it seems like you're aware of this based on his other tweets, but I wanted to echo what other people said about your in-person behavior not excusing your online behavior. And I said, if you don't want people to think you're an asshole, then don't be an asshole when you interact with people, like, regardless of whether it's online. And one of his responses somewhere in here,
I saw it. It's good. Click out to here. It's, I understand actions speak louder than words, right?
Yes, this is what I wanted. So he said, I understand actions speak louder than words, but looking at recent actions, okay, cool, that's one thing. Then he says, I don't trash talk anyone who doesn't trash talk first. And that's kind of what I pointed out to him, where, like, you can just let people trash talk you and then only respond either not at all or just with positivity. This is half me commenting on the situation at hand, half me giving advice in general as a life experience. Like, you don't always have to retaliate. It is always your decision to perpetuate toxicity, whether or not you're the person who initiated the toxicity. If you're participating in it, every additional participation that comes from you is an action that you take and a decision that you make. Totally. And so I told him, I said, you cannot trash talk at all. Like, obviously, like, let's assume that Arakune is earnest about wanting to make a significant change. He has to acknowledge that he has an extremely pervasive negative perception around him that he has to overcome because he created it for himself in the first place. That is well earned. Yeah, well earned, certainly. And if you guys aren't sure, it's all out there online. Like, you can read his comments. There's YouTube videos of, like, someone made a compilation of, like, things he said on Twitch, and it's like, it's some pretty nasty stuff. Yeah. But, like, if he wants to change the perception around him, then he has to be extra careful about what he does and what he says. Like, you have to constantly be putting out positive energy. This just goes for anyone. Like, this is how it works in a society where everything you say is recorded on social media. You know, that's one branch of the issue. Yeah. That has to do with Arakune himself. Yeah. There's a lot more.
Yeah, I want to echo too that the fact that Arakune says he's trying to change is not an excuse for anything he's done in the past.
Yeah.
And I've really been not an Arakune fan for quite a while because of this, because of how toxic he's been. And me and other commentators have talked about what we would do if Arakune were on stream. And I know Jack Zilla has, when Arakune was on stream before, he said Arakune is from Florida and that's all I have to say about him. And Arakune got very upset at him. But your actions have consequences, and it's about time that they had more wide-ranging consequences for Arakune, and I genuinely hope that this makes him become a better person. But him saying, I'm trying to be a better person, does not mean we immediately treat him as if he's made that change.
Yeah.
There should be consequences for what he's done. And the fact that there haven't been is a problem more with stuff like other stuff, and Florida as a region arguably has to work out their stuff too.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, but I don't know if even arguably. So I am glad that it looks like Arakune is making a significant difference, and I hope that he stops being such an asshole loudmouth online. And Arakune, I know you listen to this podcast.
Oh, he does?
Yeah. I know he does.
Well, good.
I know you listen to this podcast, so asshole loudmouth, I mean, maybe sound like harsh words if you're listening to this, but I think you're well aware that that's what you were too. And I hope you become better. But that stuff takes time too, so you got to know that.
Yeah, I mean...
And for the time being, the only thing you've shown us is your toxicity. So
yeah, I'm just looking at these threads, and you're asking, what more can I do? And this is what you can do. You would have to be making a constant, concerted effort to keep it positive, basically.
Yeah.
So that's all to do directly with him. But I think it was it may have been Jason from Wavedash who tweeted it, something about it being more than a suggestion to call out your friends who act
totally
in a toxic manner. He said it's more than a suggestion, it's a moral responsibility.
Yeah.
Which I totally agree with.
I agree too.
Because people are taking actions that are harmful to others, and if this person or anyone that you know is your friend and making those or taking those actions, then it's your responsibility to speak up because you're their friend and they're going to listen to you.
Listen, this is a hard lesson, and one that I've dealt with many times, and I'm sure you have too. But because it feels bad, and we don't like doing things that feel bad. When your friend has done something wrong, you should say to yourself, do I feel okay with being friends with this person who has done this thing? Right. And your reaction should probably be, if it's something that goes against your moral code, it should probably be no. And that doesn't mean necessarily that you cut all ties with them. It does mean that sometimes, depending on the thing they've done.
Yeah.
But you can make that friend someone you still want to be friends with. Sounds really harsh, but you can help them become a person who doesn't do that. Yeah. By saying, hey, don't do that shit. I don't like it, and I don't want to be friends with someone who does that shit.
Yeah.
It's actually a moral responsibility, and it's also key to a good friendship. And if you are ignoring... This is just flat out the truth. If your friend does something that you say you are morally against, but you are okay with them, you don't call them out on it, and you're still their friend... you need to check your moral compass, because you're not actually enough morally against that thing.
You're enabling it.
Yeah, absolutely. So you need to either come to terms with the fact that you don't actually care about that thing as much as you say you do, and in that case, might have some work to do on yourself, or you need to make the action to, ideally you, in both situations, need to make the action to say, okay, this actually goes against my morals, and I need to stop it.
I think in practice, it's definitely not like that easy to kind of come to terms with that with yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if you have someone that you've been friends with for a long time and you ask them to not do a certain thing or tell them how it makes you feel, and they keep doing that thing, that can be hard, because the answer might just be that this person doesn't care enough about your opinion as their friend to change their actions. And it can be hard to, I don't know, to feel like you should be doing anything about that, because the only option left is like, maybe I shouldn't be this person's friend.
Yeah.
And that's not an easy thing to do.
It hurts, but you should do it. Sorry, I don't want to sound lectury, and I know that probably did. I'll try to avoid the "you should do this" thing in the future. But I don't know, man. It's just, that is how I feel about things, and I think that it's a lesson that people could use.
So I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that more important than us just living in a world where people don't do toxic things is that we have more people demonstrate that they're willing to speak out against toxicity. Does that make sense?
At the current moment, I would agree. I think that is a good place for us to set our goals, but it's in service of a world where less toxicity happens in general.
But and my point basically is sometimes we focus on that ideal over, like, too much.
Yeah, you focus on just not being toxic yourself more than the actual changing of our community, which comes from
everyone
sniffing toxicity out, snuffing toxicity out where it happens. So yeah.
And just saying something and like conducting yourself. I mean, again, I'm using the you as well, but I'm pretty much just describing myself when I say you. Like,
that's how I was too, honestly.
Like conducting yourself in such a way that it is clear to other people that you are not going to be promoting or encouraging or enabling toxicity in any way.
Yeah, I agree with all that. Yeah, and this sucks. It sucks that when Arakune does this, we get a whole thing of, oh, look, he's changing. And when he did the same thing, when there was a whole public thing of Risu for like stuff that wasn't even harassment, it just was all negativity and she was driven out of the community. And that really illustrates how two sides of the coin can be just like so ridiculously different because of gender and position within the community.
Yeah.
So that fucking sucks. But I'm glad that toxicity gets called out. It's ugly, but it's what has to happen. Kayla, I think it was Kayla who tweeted about the myth that a community that is dealing with its shit will have worse optics to newcomers, when in reality, as a newcomer, I see a community that is actively trying to become better, that would make me want to join it more.
I totally agree.
As opposed to at first
pretending
like,
to be nice and
great,
shiny
and then
and
realizing
perfect.
there's all this shit. Yeah, so,
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned that you're done with Smash Twitter.
I didn't say that. I said
you're
fuck
done,
Smash Twitter.
You're frustrated with it.
Our camera just died, so I'm just gonna say that's a topic for another time.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna end on one last note, which is fuck Thorin, you homophobic piece of shit. And that's all from me.
Who is that?
Thorin?
Yeah. Oh, is that? Oh, I think I know who that person is.
Thorin? Duncan Shields? Yeah.
This person?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, there was some stuff that happened like a little while ago, right?
Yes, there was.
Okay.
Yes, there was. The CSGO player Mo called someone a faggot on stream, a word which I feel comfortable using because I am queer and it has been used against me many times in the past. in a derogatory way. That is actually the primary history of that word, if you didn't know, is as a very offensive piece of hate speech towards queer people. But according to Thurin, that word actually has many, many historical meanings. And Mo, when he said it... Is that
where that came from?
Yeah.
That's why I was seeing that on Twitter?
Yeah. So, fuck Thurin. I don't want to talk about this this much on a Smash podcast. I
don't think there's anything else you need to say.
Fuck Thurin, you homophobic piece of shit. I'm trying to really stick my money where my mouth is and call out shitty stuff when I see it. You suck, dude. Fuck you. That's been Analog for this week. Please follow us on Twitter at analogcast. You can email us any questions or concerns, analogcast@gmail.com. Join our Discord. Leave a comment, like, subscribe. We want more subscribers. And as we mentioned in the middle of the episode,
we have a Patreon.
We have a Patreon now.
Patreon.com/analogcast.
Yep, that should be everything. You know where to find us on Twitter. Thanks for listening, guys. As always, feel free to reach out to us in the Discord or anywhere if you want to talk about any of this stuff.
There's a lot to talk about still.
There always will be.
And we'll be happy to talk about it on our Patreon live chat.
Yeah.
That's going to happen at some point.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, thanks, guys.
Come debate us there.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
I'm sure there's going to be lots of opinions from a lot of...
Oh, yeah.
That'll be fun. That'll be fun.
See you guys.
See ya.